Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and today I want to show you guys how to draw the oviraptor. And this video was actually requested by Debbie Arnold. And so yeah, what you're seeing right now is the head of the head of an Indoraptor. Excuse me. And I just want to explain to you guys what I did with this particular drawing. So I don't have this as a tutorial. I just recorded it in a time lapse. So this drawing just took me about 3 hours. That's just because the upper section of the drawing, I wasn't really sure what technique I was going to use and how I was going to get all the little details in. So the first thing I did was draw in the eye. And then I saw that the eye was very dark, so I decided to make everything, this part a little dark as well, a little dark shadow over here. And then I actually screwed up this section. And so yeah, this was really over here somewhere. I discovered that it would look better if I just drew the shadow underneath everything, very dark, and just I try to use 3 different tones, just completely white. This is the whitest that the whole drawing in my whole drawing, this section. Then a mid-tone, like this gray, a little bit of shadow, and a very dark. Well, this is supposed to be like black. So that's also what I wanted to talk about right now. Because in this tutorial I will be showing you how to use how to draw with the 3 different tones, and later on you can always go back and make it fade into the drawing a little better. So then I started doing this part, and this part I already knew how I was going to do it, and it was a little bit quicker and stuff, and this didn't take me as much time because I had to erase a lot over here. But this didn't take me as much time as the upper section, and I believe this part also looks a little better. And also on the neck I knew exactly how I was going to do it. So but it's really kind of a shame that this part turned out to be a little unrealistic compared to the rest of the drawing. So alright, let's get into the drawing. So this was a sketch that I just did, again for about 10 minutes or so. It's not a really good sketch or anything, but I wasn't sure how I was going to put in a kind of feather texturing, and I decided to go for this kind of pattern with just a lot of feathers over here. Stops about over here, and then it continues on to until this part of his tail. And his head looks really awful, and the whole body structure looks really bad. But that's because I didn't really use any reference. I just drew this from my head without having used any kind of picture before I started drawing. So this is just completely from my memory how I thought it would kind of look like. Okay, I'm gonna take a piece of paper. Okay, so again I'm gonna try to use only the mechanical pencil or a normal pencil in this drawing. And yeah, so he is a very slender body type, something like this. I'm not gonna draw it too big. It's not like egg-shaped, his body, but it is very long and very slender. It's a really long oval, almost like a dinosaur egg kind of shape. So I'm really roughly drawing it in. we should get his back a little curve on his back, and his hip is supposed to be over here. Then his tail goes something like this. So raptors have really long tails. Keep that in mind while drawing one. Alright. And his arms go kind of like this, but I'm just gonna draw in one arm and one leg again for this particular drawing. He has very long arms. Something like this, and then something like this. That should be about okay, I guess. Maybe it should be a little bit longer. A little bit of a curve into it, otherwise it won't really look as realistic. Alright, let's keep it like this for now. Later on we can always erase this. And he has very long slender legs as well. His knee stops about over here. Yeah, this is really a strange dinosaur in proportions, I believe. So it's supposed to be something like this, and then he has his foot goes like this. Very long toes as well. Another nail over here. And then one big one over here. Trying not to make it too big. Alright, something like this. And then now it's time for his neck, and he has a very slender kind of neck, I believe. Really strange dinosaur, I must say. He has a very long neck as well. Let's just make his neck something like this. So, about something like that. And now, let's get his head in, right? So this is going to be his jawline again. It's going to be something like this. This line is behind his eyes. make something like a square, go down, and then over here is supposed to be his eye. Maybe a little bit larger, and then over here is about the end of his snout, and here on top of this goes something like this, and this goes all the way until the end of his skull. This goes like this, more straight, and now with a curve. And this is a really hard head to actually draw and get right. So if I get it right first try, I'll be very happy with it. Another curve like this, and a curve like that. This is his bottom jaw, his upper jaw. And then his bottom jaw goes like this. A little bit of space in between this. And then it goes like this. With a very sharp point on the end. So I believe this should be alright. Now we have something like this going on over here. And what I usually use for reference photos are just a lot of photos on Google, on just Google Images, and then I pick like 3 or 4 or 5 different kind of concepts of the dinosaur that I'm going to draw, and then I look at the pose and look at what the shapes look like and stuff, and that's how I usually draw my dinosaurs. So this could be a little bit thicker over here. I also want to redo his, well, he needs a little tongue. He still needs a tongue, alright. So we have something like this. And then his tongue goes kind of like this. Something like this. Yeah, I believe this looks about okay. Now let's get his eye into place. I want this area to be a little bit bigger because in most of my drawings I make the eyes a little bigger because it really helps to get kind of a character into your drawing. So just a very big circle right here. Like this. And you draw like a huge pupil. And a small little area that you won't go over. It's gonna stay white no matter what. Well, it looks kind of silly right now, but later on I'm sure it's going to look quite good. and so his nose is in this particular in this particular image that I'm using. His nose is over here, but I know that his nose is over here as well in some other concepts, so I'm not sure which one is accurate with it. So over here you want to get a few very dark lines going on. Just on the tip of his mouth, beak, on the tip of his beak. And then there's also kind of an hole over here. And a lot of lines going like this. So right now we already want to figure out the tones. So we want to have one tone that is going to be the darkest, like over here, and one tone that's going to be the lightest, like over here. And you just need to play with those kind of things, because you know that there's going to be a lot of darkness over here, so you could make a very tiny line very dark over here. And then a couple of lines like that. And so what we're going to do in this particular drawing is first we're going to put in all the shadows, and then later in the drawing we're going to work on the feathers. We're going to put the feathers over top of them. So yeah, I'm just going over everything to darken it a little bit, and I'll be back. Hey guys, I'm back. I went over every line, and yeah, I don't think this is going to be a very long video or anything, because it's not a really large drawing. I don't have to cover a lot of areas in this drawing, so I think I'm going to end the video right here, and I'll be making a second part. So if you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and comment below what you think about this one. So I'll see you guys in the next part.